This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to another edition of C2C Rank Em. I'm the host, Big B, alongside my co-host, halfway around the world, Tim Hendricks. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, excited. Things happened yesterday where you weren't feeling too good, and that happens.
Yeah.
This being December and illness month, that kind of just seems to go hand in hand. But we're here today.
Yeah, when you answer phones on a regular basis for 5 days a week and it's been busy, your voice gets a little crackly. So I guess it was a day to rest, I guess. So
right.
But we're back. We're here. We're ready to do our birthday rankems dates, which was kind of challenging with the 6 dates that you picked. And then we got our new bit, the blind ranking, that you'll pick a category for me and I'll pick a category for you. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it won't be as good as it was or hopefully it'll be better than it was last week where you had to put MJ and Scottie Pippen at number 5 as the best duel. So
no, I had him at 4. I'm at 4. We're good.
Yeah.
All
right. So with that being said, we got December 1st birthdays. So these were 10 days ago. So happy birthday to all those people on the 1st. And you share these birthdays with these people. So, I can say 4 right away. I think this is our best. This would be our best shot to get 5 in a row, but I don't think we will.
We won't. I don't think we will.
I'll go 4.
I say 3. 4, you can go for. I don't see it, but we can.
Yeah, 3 should be a given, I think, looking at the list. So.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Kick it off.
All right. There was a couple, we had this show, I want to say 3 weeks ago, where we had, what was the biggest discussions in, the biggest comparisons. I can't remember the name of the show completely, where we were talking about, things like the biggest conversations was like Michelle Pfeiffer and Halle Berry as the best Catwoman.
Yeah.
And I found another person who played Catwoman, but her claim to fame is she's famous. Don't get me wrong, but she's done tons of other things. She did the Insurgent series with Aaron Rodgers. One of Aaron Rodgers' like ex-girlfriends, but her claim to fame is the fact is her dad is really, really famous. And her dad is got a link to George Jefferson, where his mother was on the Jeffersons and played the neighbor. Her father is Lenny Kravitz. My number 5 is his daughter, who's also an actress and I believe sings, and I can't remember if she just broke off an engagement or not, but my number 5 is Zoe Kravitz.
A good one. Good one. My number 5, going to the world of the diamond, the MLB. I believe he played right field, had a good bat. I want to say he's the lone member as of right now, Hall of Fame member for the Colorado Rockies, but I think he went in as an Expo. I could be wrong on that.
He went in as an Expo too.
But my number 5 is Larry Walker.
That's a good one. Well, I like that one. That's a really
Yeah.
good one. I'm on the right date still, because my computer just decides to jump lists, but we're good. No, okay, all right. Well, I don't know if you know much about this, but my dad went to the university. My dad went to Texas Christian University down in Fort Worth. Stayed with my grandparents, but my dad went to. My dad was kind of a collegiate athlete, but I didn't realize that until after he said, "Yeah, I went to Texas Christian and I became a golf. I went and played golf at Texas Christian." So my dad was on the golf team at Texas Christian.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But this is the reason why I got into golf. I enjoy it better than play it because when I play it like baseball. I suck.
Yeah.
That's fine. I play better basketball than I do football than I do golf and baseball, so that's fine. But I've got this guy. My dad let me start watching this guy in like the early 80s, mid 80s when he was watching the PGAs, the US Opens, the Skins games, the Masters, everything. But my number 4 is the 2-time British Open, 2-time US Open, 2-time PGA Open champion winner, Lee Trevino.
All right. My number 4, we're going to Minnesota ties here, a little homer pick. I want to say he played right guard. I think he played right guard on the Vikings when we had the, Matt Burke and actually now I think about it, I think he might have been center now that I think about it because I think he took over for Burke. My number 4 is Todd Stussy.
I saw that one. I'm going, God, he's going to take that one, and I'm going to steer so far away from it. It's not even going to be pretty. Yeah.
You're number 3.
Well, my number 3 is, it's the phrase that pays. It's not C2C unless you're sniping. I have him at number 3. You have him at number 5. I saw Larry Walker, and I thought this guy needed to be on my list, and I thought right away, one of the few people that are in the hall as an Expo. I know there's a bunch of people who played for the Expos, but I think he was drafted the same year by the Expos that Tom Brady was drafted by the Expos.
Yeah, Tom Brady being the last
person to
Expo draft pick too, I think.
Yep, I think he was the last draft pick, but I think you're right. I think he's the only lone. I think you're right. Larry Walker is the lone Colorado Rocky because I don't think Galarraga is in yet.
Yeah, what ties to the Rockies? Yeah,
right. What ties to the Rockies? I don't think Galarraga's in yet. I don't think Helton's in yet. Helton should get in. I don't understand what they're waiting on that, but that's fine. But I think you're right. I think Larry Walker is the only guy that's not is the only guy that's got ties to the Rockies that's in the hall.
Yep. Well, the phrase that pays at number 3 got your golfer at number 4, which I did not know your dad. That would have been the last thing I would ever thought your dad would have been into his golf.
Oh God,
Lee Trevino.
Yeah, my dad at Augusta. No, not at Augusta, at Colonial. Yeah. Actually, was the caddy for Ben Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, you're number 2.
My number 2. Well, I'm gonna give Randy a bit of a snipe there, but this is another one. I think if you watch a lot of Halloween movies, I know there's a big movie, and it just finally came out with a sequel that every woman loves and every girl loves, and it's like, golly, it's just like I'm not a huge fan. I don't get it. But then she did this movie called Beaches before she did Hocus Pocus. Absolutely a wonderful singer. Everybody remembers her for singing The Rose. My number 2 is Bette Midler. Yeah, it's over there too.
Yep, number 2, Bette Midler. So Randy got us there. So you're number 1.
My number one, well, Randy's got me again. You know, when you're on the list for Robin Williams as being one of the funniest guys in the world, I grew up watching him play opposite Gene Wilder in things like Stir Crazy, and I think we watched him on Moving. I think he was on Moving with King Kong Bundy, where King Kong Bundy was one of the movers. Um, but I loved him. This is the guy that was the anti Bill Cosby. When now all of a sudden that when you think that Richard Pryor is actually the good guy compared to Bill Cosby now, it's amazing. But I love listening to his comedic stuff. You kind of when you look at Robin Williams as your hero, and then you see what he likes, and I don't necessarily agree with everything that he did, and especially it's kind of funny. But my number one is Richard Pryor.
Yeah, what can you say? Brewster's Millions, all that stuff. My number one is your number one. And the thing is Richard Pryor today, his stuff would not fly. I mean, we all know that.
Not even close.
Yeah. Which might even make him more iconic if you find that right group. But yeah.
You're right, exactly.
But yeah, so all right. Well, we got the 4. So
did we get 4?
Yeah, we got 4.
Holy hell! The only one I didn't get was you had Todd Stussy and I had.
Yep.
Yeah, we did get 4. Holy hell!
All right, let's go to the 8th. A few days. This one was a little not too tough. I mean, I had 4 right away. Had to go back, try to find a 5th one. So it'll be interesting to see what we have. I'm going to go 3.
You're going to go 3. You had 4 right away? Wow, I didn't. I'll give you. I honestly think we're going to go 4.
All right. I'll start with number 5 here. Actress, pretty good looking lady. Did not realize that she was 71 this year.
I saw it.
That kind of shocked me. But I'm going with Kim Basinger.
Yeah, it kind of shocked me too when I saw it. I was like, holy smokes. I'm like, I remember her in Batman, and I'm like, holy hell, she's that old already?
Yep. You're number 5.
And the funny thing is, the woman that she portrayed in 8 Mile just died like last week.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me that, yeah.
Yeah, it was strange. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Randy Cox thinks this is the greatest commentator in WWE history. I'm going to go out there on a limb. I'm smarter than that. But the thing is, I remember when he was hated. He was such a stooge for Vince. He was the mouthpiece for the commissioner. Remember when they had the computer and they got it from the GM? And I remember he's undefeated in WrestleMania. I think he's 2-0. I like this guy. And this guy when he originally started, he was a war journalist, which I thought was even more crazy. So yeah, exactly. Put the man in a WWE alongside a WWE ring and let him go to town. My number 5 is Randy Cox's favorite color guy, commentary guy, Michael Cole,
who I think just is been with the company for 27 years now.
He's 55.
I know.
He's young.
And no, he's not Adam Cole's dad. If everybody will put that kibosh right away.
I know. Randy says it all the time, but he's got to get over it.
I missed that one. I did, but yeah, I just saw somebody post on Facebook that all the commentators and Michael Cole being like there for 27 years now.
Yeah.
So, my number 4, comedic guy. I've seen his work. I mean, he's got some funny stuff, but the way he presents himself is just, or how he does his act is what just kind of gets me a little bit, where he's yelling all the time. So,
oh my God, you really did. Oh,
I'm going Sam Kingston.
Godly, you did go put Sam Kinison on there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I used to have friends that sit there and used to say, I do a Sam Kinison. I don't want to blow up my speakers.
Yeah,
but
no kidding.
golly, wow. Wow.
All right, you're number 3 or 4.
You put Sam Kinison on. I saw that name too, and I was like, golly, that's gonna bite
Yeah,
me.
it was a last minute name because I could not find anybody else that would.
So my number 4, I think the big claim to fame is because was that he was drafted by the New York Giants, and then was decided that he didn't want to play for the Giants anymore, and got traded to the San Diego Chargers back when they were still in San Diego. If you've ever listened to some of the stuff that he's ever said, he basically gets into everybody, but doesn't swear, which is really weird. And basically, he's Antonio Cromartie with the kids, but they're all with the same woman. Remember there was that Antonio Cromartie on Hard Knocks where he couldn't remember. Yeah. He had like 22 kids and couldn't remember a quarter of them. I think probably the greatest thing the Giants did was trade him to San Diego, and he was a great replacement for Drew Brees. And then he had that stopover with the Colts, and I think he should have just retired before that. But I like the guy. I give the guy credit for, and he took us to the playoffs. The 1 year he was with the team, he took us to the playoffs. But my number 4 is the kid from North Carolina State, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. And the thing is, matter of fact, I just had a debate with somebody else. Just think if Eli did not want to go, or if he wanted to go to San Diego, do we know who Phillip Rivers is? I mean,
I think we know. The funny thing is, and this is the confusing part. This is the thing that really bothered me was the fact is that, even in San Diego, you still had LaDainian Tomlinson. Yep. You still because you're near the end of Tomlinson's career. You still had Antonio Gates. You still had Vincent Jackson. You still had the defense in San Diego. You had a better shot of going to the Super Bowl early with San Diego than you did the Giants.
Yeah.
And I still think we would know who we would have. I think Phillip Rivers would have cemented himself as a Hall of Famer faster if he were in the if he was under the New York Giants.
Really? Wow.
I think especially with everything that the Giants had, they had. I think Victor Cruz was just starting getting there. Amani Toomer was still there. Yeah. Tiki Barber was just starting to get hot. You still had. I don't think Jeremy Shockey goes to sit in New Orleans. I think Jeremy Shockey stays in New York.
That's a good one. So my number 3, this guy's been all over the NBA courts, which is funny because his little caption only has him play for the Charlotte Hornets. My number 3 is Dwight Howard.
Yeah, I think you're right. Picking 3. I had 20. And the funny thing is, it was so small when I'm looking at it. Yeah. Do they think that he's that important? Okay. Well, they don't know. They don't know squat about basketball. That's fine. But my number 3 is the phrase that pays. It's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 3 is your number 5, the original Batgirl, the original love interest of Batman, Vicky Vale herself, Kim Basinger.
Yeah. My number 2, documentaries are popping up about, this type of music, and, so he's always going to be in a lot of these documentaries. I don't know what else to say about him. My number 2 is Jim Morrison.
Yep. The funny thing is, and I'm going to say it now, it's the phrase that pays. It's not C2C unless you're sniping. My number 2 is your number 2. When my stepdaughter, and my wife went to Paris, I said, I want pictures of 2 places. And they're like, okay. They kind of fought me on the first one because I wanted a picture of the Moulin Rouge. I got my pictures of the Moulin Rouge. Don't get me wrong. But I wanted pictures. I wanted pictures of Jim Morrison's grave because it's in Paris. Okay. I have pictures of the headstone from Jim Morrison, of Jim Morrison's grave in Paris. I thought was portrayed brilliantly by Val Kilmer in The Doors. I mean, those 2 guys are almost spitting images of each other, and it was kind of like it's strange to see, but yeah, I got Jim Morrison at number 2, just like you do.
All right, number one, fourth on the Rat Pack, I believe it is. So I got Sammy Davis Jr. on there at number 1.
And I'll tell you the right reason why he's my number 1. So yes, it's my number 1, your number 1. I don't get me wrong, I love Sammy Davis Jr., but without question, I love him as an entertainer. But that back and forth that he has with Carol O'Connor on All in the Family,
Oh yeah,
bunker, I thought is still to this day wouldn't fly today, but I still think is probably one of the greatest back and forths on a sitcom in TV history.
nice. All right, we ended up with top 3. Well, my top 3, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. So with that being said, let's move into the 10th. Happy birthday to those yesterday. These next 4 days are what really got me.
I think we're
not going to hit a lot. I think we're going to have a lot of curveballs type of things.
I have this feeling I've got 3 curveballs. I don't know why.
I got a couple.
I've got 2.
I'm going to play it safe and say we got 2. We're going to get 2.
I think we're going to get 2. Honestly, I think if we get 3, it's going to be because you hit one of my curveballs.
Maybe. All right, let's go with it. Let's go with your number 5.
My number 5, this would have been better yesterday because he would have played the night before. The guy who is taking the new name from Joe Montana as Joe Cool. I don't know what in the world is going on with Cleveland, but that's going to get that'll be something that we can bring up on Morning Tailgate. But I think he's a young up and coming quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. I like the kid. I think the kid's. I think the kid, and I think he's leading the league in yards, touchdowns, right alongside with Jamar Chase is like leading the league in yards and touchdowns and receiving, and yet they're working their way back up into playoff contention. But they still got to get through Mike Colts and the Denver Broncos, so that's fine. But my number 5 is Joe Cool 2, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow, I think, also has a winning record against Pat Mahomes, I think. So, all right, we got another phrase that pays out here that you got to be if you're the first, you got to be the first at something. So this one kind of shocked me as I was scrolling through. This person is claimed to fame is possibly be the first computer programmer.
That's not the curveball I thought you were going to hit.
Oh, but the thing is this is back in the 1800s. So just think how long computers are. But my number 5 is Ava Lovelace.
Oh man,
first computer programmer.
Wow. That was number 5, right? Wow. Oh man,
You're number 4.
Well, I'm guessing if you've hit that curveball, then I'm going to try to hit one of yours at this point. There are very few. There are only one of these at a time. And I was like, when I saw this name, and I'm like, there's no way that's true. And the only way you have that record is if you're still living, which I thought was amazing. And to think if this guy played in the NBA, he would make Shaq look ridiculous. And the thing is, he's a farmer. He's a Turkish farmer. But I have a guy here who's 8 foot 2 inches tall.
Wow.
He is the world's tallest living man, Sultan Kosin.
Yeah, get him on the NBA court and let's see you stop him. Especially put the weight to him.
That was the curveball I thought you were going to hit.
No, I didn't even see that one. My next curveball kind of, I don't know if he's acting more, but, scrolling through, I saw Golden Girls. I was just like, okay, got to put him on because there ain't much going on. So he was in the Golden Girls. Harold Gold. I don't know if he played a major part in there, but
I did.
you're number 4.
Well, it's the number 3, and it's the phrase that pays.
Whoa.
This is the curveball I didn't think you were hitting. My number 3 is your number 5. When I saw that, and she's the first, could be the first computer programmer, and she's a mathematician.
But back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
I mean, just think how long, technology back then to now. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah. That's what got me the most was the year. I mean,
yeah. Exactly.
But my number 3, we saw this girl play young what was it, step grandchild in the Cosby Show. She went on to get her own TV show, and then went on to be a co-host on The View, I think it was.
Yeah, I think she's got a show back on Disney Plus again.
She might have, yeah.
Yeah.
Raven Simone.
Yeah. Yeah. You said 3, right?
I said 3.
You said
I said 2.
Oh, you said 2. Okay, I think we're definitely fine at this point because I have this feeling. So my number 2, huh? Yeah. My number 2. This is one of those people that when you hear he passed and how he passed, it kind of breaks your heart. Because I saw a lot of great things getting ready to come from this guy. I was lucky enough to read the book that he became the household name in, but then he did so many other things after that. Like I saw him he played Kingpin in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. He played in Talladega Nights opposite John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. He did so much. He did the Whole 9 Yards with was it the Whole 9 Yards? Whole 9 Yards with Matthew Perry and Bruce Willis. But everybody remembers him as John Coffey, just like the drink, but not spelt the same, in The Green Mile. And when he passed away, it was kind of like a kick in the chest, kind of, because he was still young. And to find out that he was a cable installer, and somebody found him thinking we could use him. My number 2 is Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, big SOB. Yeah, yeah. Everybody said his best role was in The Green Mile too, and there was just a couple of lines in there that he did a lot. Talladega Nights was good. I like some of his lines in Talladega Nights. That's a good one. Missed that one. Really?
That's the one I thought we would get number 2 on at that point.
Nope. I missed that one. My number 2, I'm a big guy, so I like to eat. I don't know how this guy could do half the stuff he does with food, but I'd like to try some of his stuff, but I know it'll be expensive, and my wallet does not like that expensive stuff. But my number 2 is Bobby Flay.
Neither would your wife. Your wife wouldn't like it either. Well, she'd like the food, she just wouldn't like the bill.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm having a really bad time thinking that we may not hit our number 2 at this point.
We got number 2.
Oh, okay, cool. But my number 1, it's kind of strange. I don't normally put poets on my list, but the funny thing is that we grew up. I was born in a hospital named Dickinson County Memorial Hospital. I've had my appendix taken out in Dickinson County Memorial Hospital. You and I met in Dickinson County in a town called Iron Mountain. But we got there's an American poet who's not who the town is not named after, by the way, just so we're just going to go, the county's not named after him. The county's named after another gentleman that had passed through. But I was forced to read this in school. I was forced to read this poet in school. Not a big fan of it, but I know there are a lot of people who do and who really do like her. My number 1 is Emily Dickinson.
I missed that one too. Wow. Oh, I guess I gotta look over. But we did get two. The phrase that pays. You have them at 5. I can see why. There's some names that I missed that I probably would not have them at number 1. But I got Joey B. I will not call him Joey Cool because, like you said, that's Joe Montana's nickname. But Joe Burrow and anybody that watched the Monday night game and caught the Simpsons telecast of it, it was kind of a cool thing. They actually had Bart Simpson throw the first touchdown to CD Lamb or something like that. That was
Really?
cool. Yeah. So they would intertwine, and to be able, you talk about technology. I mean, they had to be a couple plays behind, but man, to be able to fire that stuff up right away, it was just amazing. So, all right, so let's go to the 22nd here. Another date that the next 3 days I kind of struggled with too. So I don't know about you, but
I'll be nice. I'm doubled up on a couple spots.
yeah, I'm God. I'm gonna play safe. I'm gonna say 2.
I'm gonna 2, 3's possible, but I don't know if I have what would be considered curveballs, but it'll work.
Yeah, well, at number 5, I got a manager in the Hall of Fame for the MLB. 3-4 time World Series winner. Has the record for the most losses, I think, for a manager. I think it said
Wins too.
What's that?
Most wins too.
Yeah. Number 5, Connie Mack.
Well, we're halfway there. But my number, my number 5. Well, this is a double up, and there's a reason why it's a double up. Because they're twins, so we're good. We're good. But when you're 2/3 of a group that basically started a music generation in the 70s, you kind of get looked at a lot. Just if Barry had been born on the same day, they'd be triplets, and we'd be calling them something else. But if it's not for 2/3, if it's not for this band, this group, this trio, we don't get the disco era in the 70s. And the group that was leading the way was the Bee Gees. My 5 is Robin and Maurice Gibbs, two of the founding members of the Bee Gees.
I saw that. So this has to be a first for us. I mean, not technically the sport, because we've had the sport out here, auto racing, but this guy's in the Hall of Fame, and he's an engine builder for racing. My number 4 is Bill Jenkins.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it was one of the small ones, but yes, he is in the Hall of Fame as a engine builder.
Wow, I like that. Was that your number? No, that was your number 4. That was your number 4. Okay, cool. All right, my number 4. We watched a lot of things growing up. You and I know I did. I know you did too. There were a lot of TV shows and we're going to keep hyping up on TBS and TNT that would like to show TV series back from the 50s and the 60s. And it's one of those shows was Leave It to Beaver. I've still yet have to ever see Leave It to Beaver in color. But that's fine.
God, I don't think I have either.
And I remember there used to be on the Disney Channel back in the days, back in the late 80s, there used to be a Leave It to Beaver spinoff where Beaver and Wally and June were all older and they were all grown up and they were still running a family. But I remember my number 4 in a movie called Airplane, where she's this older white woman who starts having a conversation with these black men on the plane, and she's speaking jive, and I'm like, and that was the greatest. I still think it's another one of those things, the greatest things I've ever seen in on TV. Something that definitely can't be played today. But my number 4 is June Cleaver herself, Barbara Billingsley.
That was her?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That's what made it so much better, because she was so prim, proper, and clean.
Oh, yeah.
In the 50s on Leave It to Beaver, and then all of a sudden she's on an airplane speaking jive, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize that was her, but yeah, now that even puts that scene more in perspective and how iconic it is. That's a good one. My number 3, we'll go to the gridiron. You know, we don't give love to kickers or punters, but I got one here who is 6'5" or 6'4" when he played punter for the Oakland Raiders, Ray Guy.
Yeah, go ahead, put up the billboard, because
All
it's
right.
a phrase that pays. It's not C2C unless you're sniping. The only punter in the Hall of Fame. My number 3 is your number 3. I have Ray Guy. Is the reason. He's also the reason why all of a sudden all punters started wearing watches.
Oh, really?
Because he wanted to make sure he knew his hang time.
All right. My number 2, probably the less known of this family, and I'm going out on a limb to say they're family members. And I hope I'm right. I hate to be wrong, but
That's all right.
I'm going with number 2 here, from the Alou family, Matty Alou.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. You're fine. I think the more famous one was Felipe.
Yeah,
because I think
There's one game where all 3 of the brothers played together. They all
right, but Matty played back in the '60s with and Felipe played for the Braves for a little bit.
All right,
but yeah. My number two. You know, I have this feeling I'm getting sniped at 1 anyway, so that's fine. My number 2 has played a lot of. He played a Nazi in. I know it's great we can say that out loud and not we have to worry about what we're going to say next. He played a Nazi in Schindler's List. Has played M in the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. He's played from anything from Shakespearean, probably one of the best things he's ever done is Shakespearean plays in London. But the thing is, most people today know him for one role and one role only. He plays the one who shall not be named, the Lord Voldemort, Tom Riddle himself. My number 2 is Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah. Well, my number 1 will go to the baseball diamond again.
That's the last one, right there.
And what else could we say? But yeah, I got number 1 as Steve Carlton.
Yeah, I had to think about which one do I have there. Yeah, I had to go. Holy smokes! I'm going. Was that the Carlton Fisk or the Steve? Was that the Carlton Fisk one or the Steve Carlton one? Yeah, I've got my number 1. I've doubled up. I've got Connie Mack. You know, like you said, most wins, losses, and games as a manager for the Philadelphia. For anybody who hasn't been paying attention, you know, the A's are used to moving. The Philadelphia, where Connie Mack was the manager of the Philadelphia A's, and then you've got Steve Carlton. You know, and this is one of the first times. This was like first year that I actually found out there was a pitching triple crown. I thought that was. I had no clue until this year, and I can't. And that's more rare than the triple crown in Major League Baseball. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I had no clue. But yeah, and my number 1B is Carlton, Steve Carlton.
All right. So let's move to the 26th here, day after Christmas, if anybody's paying attention.
Double up.
Let's see here, man.
I'm doubled up, and I'm doubled up, and I still have a curveball. I'm doubled up twice, and I still have a curveball.
Really? Well, I'll go on a limb. our number one is going to be the same. I see two. I see two.
I see three.
All right, well, let's see. So I get to start.
No, I get to start.
You get to start, like I said.
I get to start.
All right.
I think I can honestly say I think this might be a first on our show. We've been on this show for what, 2 years now? 2 years in a month.
Yep.
And I don't think we've ever had a pirate.
No.
Not a baseball pirate, but a real pirate. Real honest to God pirate. When I saw him, I'm going, and the thing is, he was in big, he had a big section. So I'm going, I'm taking that guy as my curveball, and Brandon's going to miss him by a mile. And that's going to be great. And, everybody's going to say, maybe this is the reason why Captain Jack Sparrow's got his name. It's possible.
I saw it.
But my number 5 is the English pirate himself, Calico Jack.
I did see that. Yeah, I just kind of was like, whatever. I should have looked at it more, and I thought, yeah, you would have. I mean, I would have got sniped at him, but yeah, it was a good one. My number 5, I'm going into pull a little homer card here. It is winter here. We got about dusting on the ground right now of snow, but I got a cross country skier from Minnesota, Ben Hasby. Yeah,
didn't even see him. Didn't even see
yeah, it was
him.
one of the small ones. You had to be searching. All right, you're number 4.
My number 4, my wife has this little running thing is like, they're just a minstrel band, but she loves them to death. And so every time, I think I posted a poll. I poll on both Facebook and Twitter, back when it was still called Twitter, about what's your favorite Metallica song? And it's hilarious, but every time we bring up something about Metallica, I always talk about they're just a little minstrel band, and she'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But somebody's got to play drums for this minstrel band. If you know anything about minstrel bands, minstrels don't have drums, but this one does. My number 4 is the drummer for a little minstrel band called Metallica, Lars Ulrich.
Yeah, I saw that one. My number 4, going to the NFL. I believe he played defensive back. I would say quarter, but I know they kind of move him around. Willie Williams.
Where was he at?
Yeah,
Cincinnati?
Chargers, I think. Yeah. I think he bounced around a couple times.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm trying to remember where Willie Williams was.
Yeah,
I didn't see that name.
You're number 3.
You know how we had, you have to be the first at something? Yeah. That's our other phrase. If people were paying attention earlier about, Ada Lovelace, it's just kind of coincidental that I got the other guy, who's known as the guy who's supposedly the father of computers, where he invented the calculator, the calculating machine, but is known as the father of computers. And funny thing is, I knew this before I wrote it, but I didn't know his birthday. And again, mathematician, 1870 something. My number 3 is Charles Babbage.
My number 3 will go into comedic side, director, skit writer.
Who in the world did I miss?
I think he was on the Tonight Show a lot as a producer. I'm going with 1, Steve Allen.
Well, he hosted this. He hosted it. He was the original host of the late.
Oh yeah, and hosted it.
Show. I'm like, oh no, who did I miss? And I remember I passed up on Steve Allen. I had to think about that.
You're number 2.
My number 2 is one of my double ups. If I say it enough, I might get lucky enough, and I'll talk it into existence. Where I might get to see his band in Milano in July, I want to say, but the tickets haven't come out for it. But he has done movies like I'm going to be so bad. He did Fight Club. He was in Fight Club. He was in God, this is terrible, man. My brain just froze on this guy. Morbius. And the thing is, I like this guy. He's not the recent Joker, but he played Joker in the Suicide Squad. This is my 2A because there's a second guy. And he is the frontman for a band called 30 Seconds to Mars. They are playing in Milano, like I said, in July. Hopefully I can talk that into fruition. Won't happen. Maybe, but the tickets will probably be cheaper than the WWE in Bologna. And my 2B is an actor who is in a series that I absolutely love, except the last season of Game of Thrones. I think he's another one that's going to be a young up and coming actor in this unless something really stupid happens. My 2B is Kit Harington, Jon Snow himself, and my 2A is Jared Leto.
All right. My number 2, I get to see here in December of, I want to say 22nd, if that's a weekend. He's the one reason why I stopped watching American Idol, because he should have won. And I know I give him props for the reason why he threw it himself, but and that is one Chris Daltrey.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Clay Aiken. He didn't throw it. I'm like, Clay didn't deserve to win.
Chris Daltrey actually threw that once he figured out that he had to be on a contract with them guys. They had to do their music for like three or 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
So he threw it.
Yeah.
But,
you're right.
He was out right that year. He should have won it.
You're absolutely right. He should have won that. I stopped watching it after the it was like after the Clay Aiken one, and I'm like, not the fact is I didn't want Clay to win. It was the fact is it's just I lost interest real quick.
Yeah. All right. My guaranteed number 1's the same.
Well, I'm still a doubled up.
All right.
And I'm going to the diamond.
Yep.
I'm looking at a guy who can be my 1A is considered. 2 of these guys can be arguably considered the best in their positions. Both are Hall of Famers. One can be considered the best catcher of all time. The other can be considered the best shortstop of all time. You have the originator of the word of the nickname Pudge before it went to Ivan Rodriguez. The other was the Wizard of Oz. My number 1A is Carlton Fisk. My number 2B or 1B is Ozzie Smith.
I miss Carlton Fisk. I missed that. Wow. But I did get number your second one there. Ozzie Smith by far. I can hear reasons why he's not number 1 at shortstop, but
I can't. I don't understand it. I really to me I think he's number 1. I can't hear the reasons because Jeter had more power.
Defensive wise, take the offensive side out of that because Ozzie has no power. Defensive wise, some of the shortstops, he had range, but man, some of the shortstops like Jeter, he just had a gun on him. To me, Ozzie Smith's definitely my number 1 shortstop. But some people want talk about Cal Ripken's streak and stuff like that. Yeah, I could hear it a little bit, but
Ozzy's the reason why Milwaukee doesn't have a World Series.
Yeah,
because he's got 1 home run, and it's in the 82 World Series.
Yeah, Ozzie only had 1 home run his whole career.
Entire career, 82, and it was in the postseason.
Wow, I thought he had a couple more than that. So him and Al Newman both have 1 home run their whole career. All right.
Yep. Al Newman. Where did Newman play? Newman played for the A's, didn't he?
Yeah, Newman played for the Expos. He got a home run with the Expos. And the thing is Al Newman almost had his second one but it bounced off the baggie, right on the edge of the baggie at the Metrodome.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Golly. Yeah. Ozzie Smith, I can still remember it. It was a.
Oh, yeah. They show it all the time, World Series time. But I thought Smith had more than one home run.
No, and it was against the Brewers, too. And it's what makes me the Cardinals.
All right. So let's move to the 29th here, end of the month. This one I definitely had struggles with. I got a curveball at possibly 2 spots.
Yeah, I've got two.
I kind of hope to hear a Tim family story on 1 spot. Hopefully we hit that one.
I'm doubled up on 1 spot.
I'm going to go 2. I'm going to say 2.
I'm going to say 1. You got a curveball?
I got a couple.
I got a couple too. I got a couple, and I've got a double up, and
all right. So here
I'll say 3. I'll say 3. I've got guts on the curveball.
Well, I hope we hit this one because I always love when Tim starts off as well. You know, my family when we go traveling, we listen to country music, and for some reason, when I saw the name and I saw the song, it still sticks into my head. I'm still thinking about it right now. Country singer Ed Bruce.
Never heard
Don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
I know that one, but
yes, you do.
I didn't see it. I'll be honest, I didn't see it.
You're number 5.
My number 5. I'm gonna go and go out on a limb. Probably the greatest defensive player in Green Bay Packer history.
Lex Luger.
Huh?
Lex Luger.
Lex Luger, yep. Lex Luger. See, he was such a mean old cuss that they put him in the original Longest Yard. Between him and Dick Butkus, probably one of the greatest defensive names in NFL history.
Yeah.
My number 5 is number 66 himself for the Green Bay Packers, Ray Nitschke.
Yeah, I saw that one. So my number 4, he's an actor on Netflix.
An actor on Netflix, I love that. That's a great one.
I should say the series is on Netflix that I watched. I'm not one to get into dramas like this, but for some reason I just got hooked on the series, and it's 13 Reasons Why.
I saw them.
And so the series is good. Definitely mind opening a little bit, you know. But my number 4 is the main actor in there, Dylan Minichi. I can't pronounce his last name, but
that's okay.
Yeah.
No, I saw the first season and I couldn't get past it. I was like,
yeah.
The first season's the best. I still think the first season's the best. The second season during the court case, yes, I'm willing to spoil.
Yeah.
I couldn't get past episode 2 or 3. And
the court case that season was kind of long, but it was a pretty decent series overall.
Yeah. So number 4 is where my double up is. I think I bring up my 1A, my 4A. God, I got to quit doubling up because I got to remember numbers and letters at this point. This is like algebra. We brought her up last week. I can't remember. Was it Dick Van Dyke? But you know, she played the wife of Dick Van Dyke on the Dick Van Dyke Show. And then I just watched. The funny thing is, before I put this on the list, before I picked this date, I watched a movie called The Talented Mr. Ripley, and he plays Dickie Greenleaf in The Talented Mr. Ripley because we had just got done watching Ripley with Andrew Scott, and my wife had never seen The Talented Mr. Ripley, and I went and found it and downloaded it, and we watched it. And like I said, he played Dickie Greenleaf. I absolutely love everything else he's ever done. He's done just about everything you can under the sun. Another one of those guys that everything he touches turns to gold. And my number 4A, everything she did in TV. It was Betty White. It wasn't Dick Van Dyke. It was Betty White. Um, and she had her own show. My number 4A is Mary Tyler Moore, and my 4B is Jude Law.
Wow.
Which one you missed? Mary Tyler Moore one?
No, I'm just surprised that she's that low. I was,
I've got curveballs that are so
yeah,
much.
you must. My number 3 is a curveball. If it wasn't for your Adam Cole, I think this would have been the only wrestler per se that we had on this list. But because I missed Adam Cole, or not Adam Cole,
Michael Cole.
Michael Cole. But this one, she portrayed a wrestler in the TV series Glow.
Okay. I'm like, holy smokes.
Allison Bray.
I saw that one. I saw that one too, and I was like,
yeah. That's a series. I'm a wrestling fan, and I saw the first season, started watching season 2 of it, and I don't even know if it's still on, but yeah, I couldn't watch it.
I think it's on Netflix, but I couldn't.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I think they're done. I think they're really done.
Yeah. Your number 3.
My number 3. I think this invention, so it's kind of my curveball. So you have to be the first at something. You've got a son, you've got and kids, hopefully, that are at least just the one, or you don't know over the others. But
yeah, exactly.
I know my nephews love this. My daughter loved this. For some reason, it seems like every child under the age of 8 love this, and McDonald's really sure made a buck off of that. But the greatest invention to children in the world was created by a guy by the name of, let me get this because I just went down, is Robert C. Baker. That's my number 3. But what he invented is probably the greatest food invention of all time. And it's not French fries. It's the greatest thing that kids love, and for some reason they won't eat anything, and it's the invention of the chicken nugget.
Yeah, Burger King still has the best ones, though.
Well, I have to say, which one? The chicken fingers?
No, the chicken nuggets actually got a pretty good chicken nugget.
Really? Spicy nuggets were pretty good.
What's that?
Spicy nuggets were pretty good.
Yeah. My number 2, you have them at number 4. I got Jude Law at 4.
Wow, I wasn't
there. All right, 2.
Wow, I thought you. Wow.
All right, you're number 2.
Again, when you go and it's not. It's the other. It's not the one that you just threw up there. It's the other one. You have to be the first at something. And then when you do something, they name a car company after they name a company after you. And during all this, you've become best friends with Thomas Edison and Firestone and Kingsford. And there's this famous picture that I still have to find for you of them all up at Lake Antoine camping. But my guy is the guy who invented the vulcanization of rubber. Charles Goodyear.
I saw that one. Well, my number 4 is the other half of my number 1 is the other half of your number 4, Mary Tyler Moore. All right, you're number 1.
Well, we do. For some reason, I'm the guy that does this, and I put presidents at number 1, no matter how bad they are or how good they are. I'm pretty indifferent, but I have the 17th president of the United States at number 1, Andrew Johnson.
Yep. All right, guys. So that's our list. So we got our new bit that we debuted last week, which was pretty funny. I think this one will be a funny bit throughout the time we do it. And it's the blind ranking. Tim's got a category for me. I got a category for Tim. I started last week. So, Tim, I'll let you give me my category this week.
All right. So, you and I, wouldn't it be funny if we picked the same category? It'd be hilarious. We played a lot of video games when we hung out, and you had a Sega and I had a Nintendo. That's fine. But we used to play a lot of sports games, like David Robinson and a bit of Madden. So I figured, why not? Why not? Let's pick the five sports video games.
All right.
All right. So this is going to be great because this is going to be so much fun. And they go from everywhere. They go from anywhere from Nintendo to now.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and I'm staring at it, so don't get me wrong. My first one is Blades of Steel.
Ooh. Classic. I'll go Blades of Steel at number 4.
Ooh, okay. All right. My next one is MLB The Show.
Ooh. God. I gotta go number 1 because that game is MLB The Show. Yeah, I'll go number 1. That franchise series is really good.
Okay. My next one is SmackDown versus Raw.
Man. SmackDown versus Raw, I will go number 3.
Okay. My next one is Madden.
Man, I gotta go number 2. That is the show right there. Just they're good. I mean, Madden's been around forever.
And
number
number 5, the fifth one, I got a chance to play again I hadn't played this for such a long, long time, and I played the arcade version of it, which made me feel even happier. NBA Jam.
Yeah, I would NBA Jam. That's number 5, but if I had to reverse it, knowing Blaze of Steel would be number 5, NBA Jam will be 4. I think the top 3 I still keep the same.
I played the hell out of NBA Jam.
Oh yeah, I think I actually one of the bowling alley I used to work at had NBA Jam in there, and I forced them to keep it in there because I wanted to beat all the teams in there. So
right,
I still wasn't able to.
Well, who'd you miss?
I can't remember how many. I was up there. I was close, but I took a job somewhere else, and then they got rid of the game. So
you should have bought it from them.
What's that?
You should have bought it from them.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Tim, you brought up this week a couple days ago that we celebrated 15 years of friend anniversary on Facebook or something like that.
Yep, 30 in real life.
But a lot of people don't know that we met 94, 93 in Iron Mountain, Michigan.
Yeah, it might have been 92.
Yeah, somewhere around. No, it was not. It was 90. It would have been my. Let me see. Freshman, junior. Because I finished junior, senior year here in Minnesota, so it would have been.
I graduated in 93.
Yeah, it would have been my sophomore. I started, so it would have been my sophomore year up there. So that would have been 93-ish.
Yeah.
It might have been 92. You might be right. So we're going on 30-plus years knowing. So I got my 5 favorite moments that we had together.
Oh, dear Lord.
So this should be funny. I should say moments, memories or something like that. So
holy hell.
So you brought up playing video games. So my first one for you is the hours and the time we played on. I had the Sega, but like you said, video games. So us just mashing out some video game hours.
Yeah, I gotta go 3 because I'm not gonna get pigeonholed like I did with Batman and Robin. And
actually, that's where I put it. I put it at number 3.
Really? Yeah.
All right. We had a group of us that I want to say, you could correct me if I'm wrong. The Kingsford Fair, I think it was, where we rode a Gravitron like 10 straight times.
That was the Dickinson County Fair.
Yeah.
And that was, holy crap. Yeah, I remember.
There was a group of us.
I have pictures. I think I still have pictures from that. No, I don't have pictures from that one.
Yeah. Where do you rank that one? The time we just.
Oh God, I hate you right now. Because I got to give it a 2. I have to give it a 2
Ooh.
because I'm not sure. Because I want to say 1, but it's just.
You got 2 for that one. Okay.
What did you have that?
I had that number 4.
Number 4. Holy smokes!
All right, we met in the nightclub, teen club, I should say. But we played a lot of foosball together. I went to DJ a lot. We played basketball before the club. So I got our time at Night Moves.
1. Out of question.
1.
Not a question. 1.
All right.
I told my wife about that. The funny thing is, we had just talked about, my wife and I just talked about that. It was yesterday, and I just said, no, it was Monday, and I said, Brad and I, because she saw that we had posted, and the funny thing is, yesterday was the anniversary of my wife and I being friends on Facebook, and ours was on Monday, and I said, wow, she's like. Yeah, I'm like, it's been 30 some years. And I said, we met in a teen club. And she looked at me going, you at a teen club? And I'm like, but yeah, so yeah, 1, without a question, 1. Because if it wasn't for Night Moves, I don't think we're talking to each other.
Yeah, I had it at number 5, but you make a good point. If it was not for Night Moves.
Now I'm really afraid.
All right, my next one, our trip to Lambeau Field.
Oh, dear God.
And there's a good story with this one too.
Oh, is this the one that? This is the one. God, if everybody from
this is the one when it was me, you, and your brother. I think we went to Lambeau Field because I wanted to go see it.
It wasn't my brother because my brother was in the. Because I remember when it was because my brother was in the Marine Corps. My brother was in the Marines, and
so we went to Lambeau Field, and
it was
my
sister.
up.
It was my sister and one of her friends.
No, I don't think. Maybe it was Matt Barzak. Maybe it was us. I don't know. Anyway,
Barzak would never be caught dead at Lambeau Field.
Yeah. Well, we walked in, and you're like, whatever you do not say anything about Minnesota. And I was like, okay.
It was my sister.
So we walked in there and looked around a little bit. Then I had to pipe up and say something about, where's all your Minnesota stuff? And, we're like, well, we got to go now. So
gotta go.
So you got 2 spots left.
The funny thing is that the other story is, I don't think you remember this is why I remember this story so well, was because we left at about the same. We left like 25 minutes after my parents, because my parents were going to the airport in Green Bay, and I said we can't pass. We have to let them go. So because they were going to my brother's graduation in California. And I'm like, and then we turn around, and if and I'm going to say this, sure as shit, if we don't pass my parents on the road on 141, and I'm like, and I'm driving, and my sister's going, I think that was mom and dad, and I'm like, we're not looking back now. And you were sitting in the passenger seat, and my sister was sitting in the passenger seat, and one of her friends, I think it was Sam. Was sitting in the back seat, and Heather and you looked out both looked out the passenger window at the same time as I'm passing as I was passing my parents as they were going to Green Bay. We ended up going to Green Bay too, and my parents never said a word to me about that at all.
All right, so where you got that ranked? Yeah, 4 and 5 left.
God, I know, and I'm really going to be afraid because I think Escanaba is on that list too somewhere.
No, Escanaba was on there. That was good times up there though too.
That's a great story. All these things are great stories.
Yeah.
This is like the top 5 of like top 100 things. So I'll give it a 4.
All right. I had that at number 1. So
did you?
Yes. It was a fun time.
It was a blast.
What my number 2 here being
number 2
being a great memory. A group of us going. They had a movie theater that just opened up in Iron Mountain.
Oh my God!
And of course, they had a lot of classics. So one of them was The Lion King, and there was a group of us that said the movie word for word.
Sound
Tim
for
would do
sound.
his hyena laugh when he had to. So watching The Lion King at the movie theater is your number 5.
How was that? Yeah, and so, and honestly, and honestly, at any point in time, any one of those 5 could have been number 1.
Oh
Honestly.
yeah. The Night
And
Moves one,
was
like
that
you
the-
said, if it wasn't for that, we don't meet. That should have been number 1. The
I'm trying
Lion
to.
King, you know,
I'm trying to remember if you were the person that was sitting next to me in that movie where there was a woman. I'm going to get killed later if my wife is watching this, just so you know. If anybody wanted snacks or something to drink, I think it was Lion King. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I said I'd take a large cherry Coke, and she says okay, and I'm thinking that's never coming. And I think I turned to you and said that'll never get here.
yeah.
And then when I turned around, she hands it to me. She had to be a little older than me, but I'm like, and I think you looked at me and went, "How did that work?" I said, "It's free."
Yeah, because if I remember right, too, wasn't like
Everything
a lot
was
of
free.
wasn't like everything free that weekend?
Everything was because it was the grand opening because they had just opened. But yeah, everything was free, and I'm like, and I looked at you going, "How'd you get? You really?" You looked at me going, "How'd you get that?" I said, "It's free."
Yeah.
Basketball Civic Center. Wait, what? Hold on.
Basketball Civic Center.
The why? No, now I've got questions.
Yeah.
Ryan, because did we play at the Y? Did you and I play at the Y? I know Ryan and I have. No, I think I know it. I think I know what he's talking about.
I don't remember them being a Hawaiian Iron Man.
Were you with us when? Okay, this could be the thing that's could get us in something. Ryan's watching, so I know. Do you ever we did the trip Escanaba. Were you ever with us when we had to sleep in Barzak's car?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, the only time I stayed, we ended up staying was it was Ryan, you, me, and Barzak got a hotel room. They left early, and it was me and you after, and we got stuck there. We got stopped, and we had to. The hotel manager stopped us because they wanted to know how many people were in the hotel room.
Yeah, I left my stupid class ring in that in that hotel room. Right, the person found. The funny thing is, years later, somebody had contacted my dad saying that they had my class ring. They wanted to give it back, but they wanted more money out of my. They wanted more money because they knew that we had more than 2 people there. Yeah, he's talking about Crystal Lake. Did we play at Crystal Lake? I was thinking of the time in Escanaba where Barzak slept in the front seat of the car. I slept in the back seat of his Mustang, and Ryan slept underneath the car. And
underneath the car. Oh, wow.
At the YMCA, and we're all like at the YMCA in Escanaba, and Ryan, all of a sudden the cops roll up on us because we weren't supposed to be parked in the parking lot. And Ryan's rolled underneath the trunk under the trunk, not in the trunk, under the trunk of Barzak's Mustang, and he had to talk to the cops. He had to talk to the cops because he was. I thought he was drunk, and he had to sleep. He was sleeping underneath the trunk of the car. I don't remember, honestly. I don't remember the at Crystal Lake. What happened at Crystal Lake? Were you there when I slammed Ryan's finger in the door?
No, that was me.
No, you slammed his finger in the door.
Yeah, that was me. Because he was. Oh yes, I remember that. And I thought he was joking, so I didn't open it right away. That was, if I remember right, we were coming out of McDonald's.
It was at McDonald's. It was at McDonald's in Escanaba, and we all gone inside.
And I thought he was faking.
It was a week before he was supposed to go to the Marine Corps. He was going to basic training, and next thing you know, he's flopping around like a fish on the top of the car, because his finger was still stuck in the door.
Yeah,
and not in the regular part of the door where everybody slams their finger, but in the
Up by the windshield.
Yeah, up
Yeah.
there, and he's flopping around. And I think that was the night that we called Bo Dallas, not Bo Dallas. Bo. Remember they did that country show on Escanaba.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
we finally got through. I know what you're talking about.
And the funny thing is, his twin brother works for the radio station up in Escanaba. I've met both of them.
Okay.
So yeah, I met Bo.
Yeah, if I remember right too. Did we go to the hospital too because we thought it was broken? Yeah.
We thought he broke his finger.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, with that being said, I mean that's 30 years of that being said, that's the show. Tim, final thoughts?
Oh, like Ryan wanted to hear his stuff come out right at that time.
Yeah.
I don't still Ryan's gonna have to text me what Crystal Lake means because I forgot. But that happens. No, I enjoyed that. That's a like I said, any one of those could have been number one. This is just a list of 100 different 100 memories and things. I enjoy this list. Stay tuned. Going to be back. Drilled my fingernail. Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? Because they had all that pressure in his fingernail.
Yeah.
Watch us on Sunday. We took a reprieve because everybody had things. We had kind of like our third or fourth bye week this year, which is fine. We'll go over week 14. Are we at week 14 already? Week whatever of the NFL, and then hope maybe we'll get into possible playoff scenarios and who's in and who's out. And then we'll be right back here either Tuesday or Wednesday for C2C Rank Em. God, I'm on the show and I can't remember it.
Yep. So with that being said, I do got some breaking news from ESPN. NFL is planning to play a regular season game in Berlin next year.
They played Munich.
It was preseason, yep. So the first game will be I don't know if it'll be the first game, but they'll have a game in Berlin next year.
Oh, so. Green Bay again will be playing in Berlin.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, check us out. We got a lot of shows. Hopefully, the staff. I mean, it is holiday season, so it's hard to get everybody together, but hopefully we'll bring our shows back between the ropes. Sports Minute, Kicking It, and stuff like that. Entertainment hours. So
I'll be honest. I'm going to be the guy who signs that petition. Going, we need the real Kicking It back. I understand why. I understand why. My wife really loves that.
It's not the same when you take out the big bit. I know your wife is disappointed. So. Maybe we'll have to have Randy on there because Randy can give us some good takes too on some things. So so
maybe.
With that being said, we'll see y'all next week. C2C Rank Em. Have a good one.
I shouldn't do that.